Premiere just got a massive update to masking, which allows us to create seamless transitions easier than ever. The standard mask has also changed. So let's dive into everything you need to know about masking. You used to be able to mask under opacity and it was pretty easy to use, but Premiere has redesigned it into the tools panel, which gives you more options than ever to create seamless transitions and custom mask. Let's dive in. First, we're going to start off with showing you how to do a simple tracking mask to blur out a license plate, and then I'll show you the complex seamless transition mask. On this clip right here, I want to blur out the license plate. So instead of going to opacity, there's no more mask tools. It's actually down here in the tools panel. And if you don't see that, go to window and make sure tools is selected. Down here, you'll see this object mask tool. And if you long press it, you'll see we have an ellipse, we have a rectangle, and a pen mask tool. If you just click on, like, for example, the rectangle mask, you'll see that it clicks and drag. You'll have these different options that I'm gonna go over, but you can change your mask color so you can easily see it when you are working. Under unassigned mask, you'll see that we have all these properties now that we can customize our mask. When you click on the rectangle mask that you just created, you have even more parameters within the actual window itself, so you can customize this to your liking. For the sake of this thing, I'm just gonna zoom in on my license plate right here, somewhere in the middle of my clip, and I'm gonna come down here and select the pen mask tool, and then I'm gonna click around my license plate, just like so. And voila, I've created a simple mask. Now under tracker, I'm gonna click this track selected mask forward and backward. So as you can see, that tracked our license plate pretty good. And here's where the fun thing happens. So you can actually, under your mask, you can adjust the parameters such as the feather and all that stuff. But what I recommend is actually just applying this mask to an effect. So I like to stay organized. So let's right click on that and rename. Type blur. So then I know this is going to be the blur mask. Now, if I go to effects and type in Gaussian blur, and drag on that Gaussian blur effect, immediately you'll see that our unassigned mask has been applied to that Gaussian blur right here. So if we play this, it's completely blurred out. But this is where we can get creative with it. So under Gaussian blur, we can click on our mask to reveal our actual mask layer and start to manipulate with the feather and other custom options. If you don't want to see the green overlay, you can select your overlay to none, so you can get a better example, or you can just select your effect layer and start manipulating it however you want. So let's feather that a little bit. Let's change the expansion up a little bit so it blurs a little bit more around the edge. And then let's also lower the amount. And just like that, you have created a custom mask that is tracked to your actual subject. You may be asking yourself, what is the difference between clip and frame? Well, clip mask adjustments affect the entire clip, meaning that if you change this mask at all, like that, for example, it's going to affect that for this entire clip. If you click on frame and you adjust that, it's just going to adjust that for that particular frame. So that's how you can kind of get some custom options throughout your entire thing. And the keyframes are added automatically. So typically what I would do is I would go to frame if I need to manually adjust any portion of my mask throughout the entire process. So I can go through here, adjust, and keep going through to get the desired look that I want if I need to adjust this mask at all. When you play that back, it's automatically keyframed and adjusted to your liking when you're in frame mode. You can actually get creative with this. So we can just copy our layer up here. And on our top layer, we can click inverted, and just like that, everything else is blurred out and our license plate is enabled. So if you wanted to do some cool flashy transition, you could do something like this. Now let's dive into this seamless mask transition. This first clip, the guy is running, and this next clip, he's also running. What we want to do is actually figure out what our transition is. Since he's moving, I feel like I can mask him out, keep the background, and then start to blend this background in. So this is going to be a combination of two types of mask. First, I'm going to click on our first clip, press on the object mask tool. You can highlight any subject you want. So I'm going to click our guy who's running right here. And as soon as I click him, you can see that he's selected. You can add or subtract from your selection by clicking these two things right here. And then I'm simply going to click track selected mask forward and backward under our object mask. As soon as I did that, you can see that our subject has been masked out, which is great. Now we can use this mask however we want. Again, let's rename, say guy running. What I'm going to do is actually copy this layer up to the third video layer because I know that I want our next video to be beneath that. And on this top video layer, I'm simply going to copy that object mask and drop it under opacity. What that will do is it'll single out our subject so that we can use that for our top video layer. And we're going to come back to this later so we can feather out the edges and make this a little bit more smooth. Any video that we drop in beneath this will actually show that video layer. As you can assume, all we need to do now is blend these layers together. So on this second video layer, I actually need to blend this entire video in to make it a seamless transition. So what I'm going to do is click on my second video layer, which is this one right here. And I'm going to go down here, long press on the mask tools and click rectangular mask tool. I'm simply going to click and drag to fill my full window, and I'm going to zoom out, set my fit 50% so I can see what I'm working with. Since this mask is unassigned right now, we can actually just drag it down to something that we want it assigned to, like opacity. Now that this mask is under opacity, I can start to manipulate it and you can see what's happening. I actually want our mask to be bigger than our entire image. So I can drop down under our rectangular mask and change our scale height and scale width as well. So it covers our whole thing. And then I also want the feather to be feathered out quite a bit, because once we feather it, that's going to really sell into this transition. And as you can see, if I start to drag in our image, it'll start to reveal our background image, creating this seamless transition. In order to adjust the actual mask, once you get everything set up how you want it, you're going to click this frame mode. So I'm going to drag our mask all the way to the left, since I know I want to fade this in to the left to the right. But as you can see right here, currently there's a little issue where once the mask has a feather on it, if you bring it in just to the edge, the feather actually like clips in pretty harshly. So I have a little fix for that. So we're also going to have to keyframe the opacity, but I'll show you that after we do this. So I'm going to drag this mask off to the left-hand side, and then I'm going to go forward a couple frames like so. And then I'm just going to drag my mask back on so it covers the entire screen. If I play that back, you can kind of see that our guy's running, the mask is coming in, and then it reveals our subject like so. And it looks pretty good, but I want to increase my feather more. So I'm going to drag my feather up. But since our inside mask is not big enough, let's go back to clip mode and just increase the size of our entire mask. And just like that, we've increased the size of our mask. Initially, when the mask comes in, watch if you go frame by frame, you'll see this large gap right here that happens when the image all of a sudden comes in for the first time. And this is because when your rectangle mask hits for the first time, it has a harsh entrance. So in order to combat this, just click the keyframe under opacity, change that from 0, and then go a couple frames forward, and then increase that to 100%. This way, when your mask comes in, if you go frame by frame, it's a seamless blend, so it's not as harsh. And that looks like this. The next thing I like to do is actually make sure your subject is a little bit more blurry so it bleeds into this effect. Since we already have the mask of the guy running, we can actually add some effects. Like if we go directional blur and drag that onto our top video clip, we can come down here under directional blur and see that it's already been affected. So I'm going to increase the feather a little bit. I'm going to change the angle to 90 degrees because I want it horizontal, and I'm going to lower the amount to, let's say, 0. And what I want to do is from here, add a keyframe under amount and chromatic aberration, and then go forward a little bit and then increase these to my desired taste. Move that a couple frames forward. So now if we play that back, you can see that our runner gets more blurry as the frame transition happens. If you also want to adjust this mask itself because you think that this edge is too soft, you can click on the object mask and increase the feather. So when you increase that feather, you can see the edges of our subject is actually becoming softer. So then if I play that back, it looks like this. And going frame by frame, you can kind of see how this happens. We masked out our subject right here. And then slowly on the left-hand side, we're going to start to bring in the background image. Since our subject is already masked away from this image, our background image is going to start to bleed in and transition from left to right, revealing our next transitional video. If you guys liked today's video, click that like button and subscribe for more because I'll be making some more stuff in the future.